Good morning, everybody. My name is Nate Tubbs with the Together Chicago team, and just want to say thank you for being here this morning. So it's my job just to briefly tell you, especially for those who are here for the first time, a little bit of the why we even do this. Why Building Blocks of Peace? What is it, and why do we do it? And there's kind of two meanings to the phrase building blocks of peace. We're talking about the practices, the elements that make our communities safe and whole and seek the well-being of our neighborhoods. What are things we can do to help make that happen? And then we're talking about the physical places, the blocks, the neighborhoods, the beats, the school areas. And so everything about this training, we hope that you go away today with some thoughts on, hey, here's some practices that I could do, and here's some places that I could be committed to in my neighborhood, in my community, all right? So another phrase we use a lot is this term called faithful presence. Faithful presence. And the way we define this is seeking the well-being of our blocks and neighborhoods through consistent, positive presence in proximity to our homes, organizations, and places of need. I know I've asked this in past months, but how many of you believe that can make a difference in your neighborhood? Is anyone with me on that? Okay, all right, so that's what we want to see. Let me show you this picture too. We want to celebrate this idea of collaboration, right? That everybody has a role to play. That communities aren't just safe just because of policing, or just because of street outreach, or just because of faith communities, or just because of block clubs. Every one of those things can play a piece of the picture, but isn't the whole picture in itself, right? There's a role that residents can play. There is a role that the police play. There is a role for street outreach. There is a role for block clubs, et cetera, et cetera. And so we want to celebrate each other today. And some of the people that are on the panel and leading these workshops, they represent some of those different kinds of roles, and we want to celebrate those roles of these everyday peacemakers. So that's kind of the idea. What would it look like to have collective action among these various types of groups to seek the well-being of our neighborhoods? I want to talk about this too, this idea of common ground, okay? So think about your block or your neighborhood, and a lot of times we think of common ground as this ideological thing. Oh, do we have common ground ideologically? But I want you to think about it today in a physical sense, in a place-based sense. And if you're deeply committed to your place and your block, I think it will lead you into collaboration with other people who also care about that place, right? So deep commitment to our places should lead us into collaboration for common ground, all right? And then the last thing I want to say is this idea of loving your neighbor and loving your neighborhood, and how both of those are important. We want to love the people, and we want to love the places, all right? And so think about this statement here. Love can't make a difference if love remains distant. How many of you know you can't love something from far away, right? All right, if Bishop Peacher was always far away from me, but he said, oh yeah, I love you, Nate, from over here, it feels a little different than if he comes up close, if he spends time, if he's present and available, if he gives attention to me, right? And so love needs to get close. So we want you to get close to your neighborhoods and to your neighbors, all right? And so love up close, all right? So those are some things to chew on. We've got a lot of great stuff on today's program. So I'll just tell you a little bit. Doc kind of already mentioned this a little bit, but the big picture of Building Blocks is that we've done 3 months of training. And then coming up soon on Memorial Day weekend is Hands Across Chicago. You're going to hear more about that. But that's where we want you to get out in your communities and take action through the summer. What does faithful presence look like for you in your neighborhood? All right?